Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 169. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on, Ant? How are you?
You know, just a mellow Super Bowl weekend.
Yes.
You know.
Recovering from the winning team, finally making their way to the Super Bowl or winning for the first time.
I have no idea what any of that means because I haven't followed football.
Kansas City, I think, is in the Super Bowl for the first time possibly ever, and the 49ers are back in the Super Bowl in a very long time.
I thought Kansas City was in the Super Bowl once before. But
Maybe it was the no, not recently.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I mean, I stopped following it. In fact,
yeah, I know.
This coming Sunday is the kickoff of the XFL, and I will be there for all 5 home games for the New York
You're
Guardians.
excited about that. Well, by the time this episode drops, the Super Bowl is over, so I would just like to say that I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I thought the commercials were great, and the best part of the Super Bowl was that the Patriots were not in it.
I don't care. So
I know you don't care.
I could care less.
But I'm one of those people where I'm like, oh, not them again. So
I've so lost interest in the NFL. But the XFL, yes, looking forward to it. Should be fun. Front row, 45-yard line.
Nice.
Guardians on duty. So looking forward to it. So this week, and hopefully we got it to work, and hopefully it came out really well, our Super Bowl prediction video. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes. But, well, yeah, it worked out nicely last year. So we'll, again, we haven't necessarily recorded it yet because the Super Bowl is the day after we're recording our episode. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, we'll see how technology goes. Speaking of technology, though, I'd like to talk about some of the newer technology that helps with the older stuff, because we got a lot of that type of news coming out, and some of this stuff will aid in our contest.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, our big 2020 contest. We dropped it last weekend. If you want to remind some of the listeners and viewers what that one's going to be all about.
All right, so our 2020 contest this year is Larry and I are going to beat retro games we've never beaten before. Whoever beats the most retro games this year will win a video game from the loser worth up to $100, or we should say $100. It shouldn't be up to, because then, like, if I lose, I can give you a $3 game. Be like, hey,
I feel like it's going to boil down to me getting you a $100 Game Dude gift certificate, or you getting me a Game On $100 gift certificate.
That's fine. You know, and maybe we should get them to sponsor this.
That'd be cool. We can see how that goes.
Hey.
Because most likely, some of the games I have in mind, I may have to play a Game On.
Oh, well, of course.
Because they have them.
Yeah. So that's the contest for this year. We have a nice little low rent graphic that it will be going up on our page periodically as Larry and I beat games. Larry is currently up 1-0 because I graciously gave him his Kung Fu victory earlier this month. And pre-contest.
That was, yeah. So anything from 01, 01, 2-0 on. And it doesn't matter how quickly the game takes. 4 minutes, 35 years, either way, it was beaten. So there you go. I'll take it.
There you go. So I've already got my first game in sight. So,
okay.
Yeah. So.
Are you going to lean, we talked about this a litgoing bit last week, but I had a whole week to think about it. Are you going to lean towards just games like you've played and just never beaten? Or are you going to try, like, to beat games that you've never played before, period? Like, kind of like, what's your idea?
No, I think I'm going to do a mix of games.
Okay.
There's some on my list where it's like, wow, I got really far in this one, or I used to play it like crazy and never made it to the end that I want to go after. And then there are games where it's like, hey, and we talked about this last week, like, I've never played a Crash Bandicoot game. I would love to play through one of those, and so on and so forth. We did go back and forth a little bit on playing a retro game on a current system, like we talked about, like Link's Awakening, type
something
of
like that.
Yeah, like that. I think it's okay to play. I would say we're going to play the games in their original state as best as possible. Okay. So in other words, like if there's a Crash Bandicoot trilogy, like on PS4, which I think there is. I think that's okay to play, but when you're talking about a remake, like Link's Awakening was more of a remake, and the anime, it's all different in terms of the graphics. That one I would steer away from. I'd go more for the
because like Crash, it's just more of a fresh coat of paint. As far as I know, it wasn't anything new to it.
Correct.
All right.
So
I'm fine with that.
So I already have I have one game in sight that I'm gonna hopefully take care of this weekend.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that we can even the score.
And also, I think we can say that games like because some of the games just for ease, kind of like the Nintendo, like on the Switch, the NES and the SNES, virtual consoles, like those Konami collections, stuff like that are fine. But I think. And this, I think we both can agree on, like no save states, because those have save states on them.
No,
and when we say save state, meaning literally saving it right then and there where it is, not if the game incorporates saves like a Metroid does or something.
Right. Any game with a natural save state is fine.
Okay.
But
I think we got that. All right. I think we narrowed it down because I got some games in mind. It would involve just for ease of access on the Switch, but I'm gonna have some stuff in mind, and right,
well, don't forget these need to be documented
in some way, shape, or form. Yes, whether it's video or at least trying to video maybe the end or take a picture of it or something.
Or live stream it so people can watch us.
That too.
Always that.
So I can multitask and focus on more things. And if you notice, when I live stream, I'm not the best because I'm too busy talking. So that's what I'm worried about. That
and that's perfectly fine.
Oh, I don't know about that.
No, that just gives me the advantage.
So we'll get this all straightened out, but that's basically how it's going to go. And hopefully at some point during the year, the big bad Polymega comes out, and I mean that in a good way. So then I can have, because there's more games behind me that I'm definitely itching to play, to get going, not just for the contest, but to play. And again, we seem to be getting closer and closer because as of this recording, it's now closed, but Polymega did a sign up for a public kind of sort of beta of their system.
Yes. We both signed up for it, too.
Yep, we both signed up for it. You needed to pre-order the system in order to be part of it, which was interesting. I think until maybe I'm thinking of Intellivision. Never mind. So, so we signed up for it. Hopefully we'll hear something this week. Hopefully both of us will get access to it, because then we can compare it.
Yeah, it would be funny if one of us got it.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, I know dollars to donuts, it's going to be you, because that's just how it goes for me, which is fine. So,
but don't bet on it.
Did you? Literally, I'm not going to, because I want to keep some of my money. Did you? I don't know if I missed it. I'm assuming it's just the base, so it's just the CD systems. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Better? Okay, which is fine. And then what's cool about it, and I think they said, you don't, there's no, what do they call that? When you sign sign the disclosure, not to talk about
disclosure agreement?
Yeah, there's none of that. So if we get this, we can talk about it publicly, and we can take pictures of it and everything. And the best part about it, which I've been going back and forth, I'm curious how you're going to go with it. If we get picked for the beta, all right, we get the system. We test it. When the final release comes out, we can either keep the beta as our pre-order or trade it in for the final, official release system. Right. And I feel like now a beta is a beta, so you expect things not to go 100% correct on it. Right. So I would think we would probably trade it in for the fresh model.
I'll go back and forth on it. I don't know. I mean, because even if it's a beta, I think, how, with your PS4 and your Xbox One, whenever you turn it on, there's an update. I think anything that needs to get updated on the system will be done through the software. So I just think the beta system, you'll be able to download whatever patches you need in order for it to work. So I may lean towards keeping the beta, because then I have, a small, whatchamacallit. I have a system that was only available in smaller quantity.
Also, not only that, but you only ordered the base system. You didn't order any of the attachments.
Yeah, I just ordered the base system because All of the other attachments, I've already got that covered with the Retro Free.
Yeah. So module wise, you're good. Me, I ordered everything. So
Yeah,
I would feel like I may have to trade it in. So then they send me everything with the modules. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah. So we'll see. We got time. No release date. But something's got to be happening. You know, the wheels are moving. So we'll see what's up on that.
Yeah, they better get on it though, because it's been a while.
And that's like one of possibly 3 systems, not counting Xbox 5 and the Xbox Elite X, that probably will pick up during holiday. But
no question.
the Atari VCS is still out there. I mean, they're showing up to trade shows, so at least they haven't run away with my money. They just are hoarding my money right now. Still looking forward to that. But I was able to pre-order the Intellivision Amico.
Yes. Well, congratulations on that.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I think you're like the experimental mouse of the retro gamers.
I'm like Pinky.
Yeah, it's like, we drop you in a maze and there's a new system at the end of it and you just got to find your way to it.
I'm constantly getting electrocuted on the way there.
And you're just getting Yeah, well, that's the enjoyment I get out of it.
You know what? You couldn't go wrong with this pre-order. It was $100 refundable deposit. I mean, that's no questions asked on that one. Very nice. It's Super Bowl Sunday, not WrestleMania Sunday.
It's I'm about to have WrestleMania, so I need a moment.
All right. Well, while Anthony walks away, I'll explain here for a moment.
Moment's over.
Well, that didn't take long. All right, I was going to get Anthony Amico. So,
yes, $100 down for the Amico.
Yeah, again, refundable deposit. So to me, that was just a no-brainer. Even if I was still thinking about the Amico. But this was the Founders Edition. We talked about it last week. $300, which I was expecting to plop down $300 for the pre-order. But no, they want this to be very family friendly and almost budget friendly. And by doing this $100 first, and then as you get closer to shipment, then they'll send you a new email to collect the other $200. I think they definitely have family in mind, budget in mind for this.
Yeah, no, I think so too, and I think it's a stronger testament to the confidence the company has in the system that they're only taking a down payment right now as opposed to the full amount. See, with
the refundable.
That was the one thing that bugged me about the Polymanger. It's like you needed to pay this entire thing up front, and you'll get it when it comes out, and there's no release date. And I'm like, it's. But again, I guess a lot of Kickstarters do that. So
Polymega wasn't even a Kickstarter. Polymega did it through their own site.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm just saying, Kickstarters do that all the time. The 13th Doll game that I got.
Yeah.
I think after I did the Kickstarter, it took at least 3 years before I got it.
No, correct. But when you say Kickstarter to me, it's it's a no-brainer. Like, you can put the money down, but until the Kickstarter campaign is over, you can pull it back. Like, you don't get charged yet. Yes, for the Polymega, which is fine, I was charged the full $500 that it was because I was getting everything. But with and I don't mean to bring back to it, but it was kind of the same as my XFL tickets. It was a $50 refundable deposit before I got the tickets. So at least I locked it in and I could still change my mind before I purchased. So that's what I thought was pretty cool about this. And it sold out. What they say, I want to say they had 1,000 units sell in the first 10 minutes.
Nice.
They only did 2,600 of these Founder Edition.
Yuck.
Yeah. So I think 1,000 in the first 10 minutes, and then. So truth be told, I actually pre-ordered mine at 4:30. It went on sale at 4:00. I was sound asleep when this happened, and I set my alarm as well, so I slept through the alarm.
4:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was 1 p.m. LA time, 4 p.m. New York time.
Why were you sleeping at 4:00 in the afternoon?
Oh, I was off. It was the day after the Rumble. So I was off from work.
Why were you sleeping at 4:00?
Why? Because this is what I do. I nap. All I do is sleep. And it's good. Oh, trust me. I love my naps. I get them whenever I can.
And actually, Grandpa.
All my life, no. If I'm not doing anything, like 2-3 o'clock, I start to crash every day for almost 40 years. Yeah. So
good to know.
Oh yeah. So So I did that. And then, but I was like, oh, I missed it. Gosh darn it. But no, luckily I got on and it was still good to go. I think there was like 50 left by the time I pre-ordered it. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, it looks like a good system. My personal hesitancy is not necessarily if I think it's going to succeed or fail, as opposed to financially. I don't like throwing money down until I see if something's a little more proven. The Polymega is the Polymega was one instance where I felt confident enough about it based on what the system was, and it also helped that I didn't put money down. I didn't pre-order it until after I saw it in action at the game store in downtown LA. So, but with a refundable deposit, where do you go wrong? Well, that's the thing. No, I don't think you do. Yeah. So, but I'm curious to see how it passes the Larry test. So. Okay, I see where you're going with that now. All right. I was like, because if you're curious about it, but you want it, why wouldn't you pre-order? Not you personally, I'm just saying in general. Well, no, I mean, I don't necessarily, me personally, I don't necessarily need the Founders Edition. I'd rather wait till it's a little bit down the line. See, okay, fair enough. The special edition you're getting is fine, and I'm all for getting special edition consoles. They're great. I was like, but for this one specifically, I'm not 100% sold on it. Well, you're never 100% sold on anything. You're the biggest skeptic I know. I'm a lot more skeptical than you are. It was like, we were going really well with the mini consoles, and I was just pre-ordering them blindly, and then the PlayStation Classic made me rethink everything. And again, I know that we don't have to argue about it. You really like it. I was disappointed, but at the same time, I was like, I canceled that pre-order like I think a week before, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not too sure about this thing. It turns out I was right, and then I bought it down the line later for $12. So, well, that's a different ballgame on that part. Yeah, but anyway, but my thing is, I always take the more cautious approach, whereas you jump right in. I did because why not? That's sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and obviously I lose more than I win, but I feel like when I do win, it's a home run. So so we'll see how it goes. All right, we will see. Plus, when's it supposed to come out, or it doesn't have a release date? No, 10/10/20. That is the official release date. All right, so October. Yep. I'm going to get mine, I think, 5 days or 7 days earlier than everybody else. Well, anyone who's got the Founders Edition. And even though it's $300, you get a $50 gift cards for games. So knock that now immediately down to $250. Yeah. So it's starting to become, and it's, for the collector side of it, like you said, I do get a kick out of the collector's editions. It's going to be signed. It's going to be numbered. So I get more of a kick out of that as well. So that's worth the extra $50 in my mind, because I think it's going to retail for about $200 anyway, the system itself. But yeah, it's looking sweet. It looks awesome. It's going to have exclusives. The brand new Earthworm Jim from the original creators will be only on the Intellivision Amico. Did you ever play the original Earthworm Jim? Maybe not like literally like on the Super Nintendo or Genesis, but I did download the HD version on my PS3, which I can use probably for our contest, because it is just a high def remake. It's not a great, a complete overhaul of the game. That's where I was going with it. Yeah. So check that out. I'm definitely not getting like the $200 like cow print edition that came out of Earthworm Jim. I'm good on that. So now you got to draw the line somewhere. It's nice to see that you draw the line at cow print. I do. Of all things. Meanwhile, I'm collecting my coins so I can knock down the pre-order for the TurboGrafx Mini. That's coming out in March. We're only a couple of months away from that one. Holy hell! Yeah. Oh wow. That's snuck up. Yeah. And I believe I have it on pre-order. I'm not 100% sure. And Amazon, they don't charge you till you ship. So that's what I like about their pre-orders. And I've had Final Fantasy VII pre-ordered for like a year. Yeah, I probably pre-ordered this is probably the longest pre-order I have. And it's funny because I mentioned before, I pre-ordered it like day one, like the Genesis Mini. My Mario, who's been on the show before, moves in the downstairs apartment months later, pre-orders it months after I did. We live in the same basically household, and he got his before I did by like 2 days.
So
nice.
Yeah. So
hey, it happens. Blame the USPS. Hey, Frank.
No, I can't because Amazon has their own shipping people.
Okay, blame them.
I'll blame Frank for something else.
Okay.
So, continuing on with this idea of new meets old, and of course, I already have the Polymega on order, but if not, the next best, or to some people, the best clone system company out there is Analog. Mm-hmm. We've talked about them before. They're coming out with the Analog Pocket. They've had the NES, the Super NES, the Genesis. I think those are the only three so far. Pricey, but worth every penny.
Yeah.
Oh, we got tremor happening over there?
Yeah, just trying to adjust.
You know, for those of you out there who are watching and listening who just, you know, want that, you know, the exact same gameplay, the way the game comes out of the cart onto your TV. If the system isn't branded by Nintendo, you know, at least have it branded by Analog. You know what I mean? Like straight off the cart. They are actually re-releasing their NES, which was a top seller of theirs, but they're like what I'll call NES Lite. It was like a smaller version of their original system. Still going to be, I think, like $400, which is ridiculous. But
wow.
For those who want that pure 100%, you know, gameplay from the cart, this is going to be the way to go. So check out Analog. A friend of mine told me about it, and you know, they're good. Their systems are top notch. Don't get me wrong. Just, I always said, there's Analog, and then you got Hyperkin, which is like the Kmart version of Analog, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all based on preference.
Yeah, of course. Well, it always is.
Because I know there are a lot of people that are very happy with Hyperkin, so more power to them.
I love Hyperkin.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know we're kind of blowing right through this because I got a Super Bowl party I got to prepare for.
but it's Saturday.
I take a full day to prepare.
Oh, how many naps do you take?
Today I'll probably get one more in by the time we're done. If I get to my parents, I may take a little mini power nap when I'm there. I get a lot. I went to bed at like 8 o'clock last night, right before SmackDown. I woke up at 4:30.
You okay? On a Friday night,
and I'm still tired.
Dude, we're old. Yeah, but
I'll be sound asleep on my live podcast during WrestleMania probably. I'll be so tired.
That'll be entertaining. Which, by the way, I got your invitation. Thank you very much.
All right.
I am TBD.
All right, fair enough. I'll take it.
I don't know. I gotta see if I can fly in for that.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So when we were coming on today, I was trying to think of something to talk about also, besides, you know, what's new is old and everything like that, because we've been with the contest, we've been talking a lot about that. Yeah. But in terms of sports games, since we had the Super Bowl this weekend. I had posted an announcement on our page that Tecmo Bowl was coming to the Switch.
Yes.
And a lot of people were going, you know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is awesome," but then there were a few that were like, you know, "Oh, why? You know, Tecmo Bowl sucks. It's Tecmo Super Bowl or nothing." I don't know how well versed you are in the Tecmo Bowls. Did you have a preference between the two?
Well, I mean, the one that's being released is the arcade game. So, I don't know what people are getting all upset about. As far as home console versions, well, Tecmo Bowl is on the NES Mini, first of all. So, good game. I personally, my first Tecmo Bowl game, I want to say was Super Tecmo Bowl 3 on Genesis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I was a little bit late to the game. And I remember that vividly because I remember the first game I played, I was in New England, I played against Miami, and I beat them like 165 to like 8. So I'm like, ooh, I think I have this on rookie mode.
I would say you definitely have it on rookie mode.
I love the Tecmo Bowl series. If you want just a good classic gameplay, Tecmo Bowl, there's nothing, it's so straightforward. You know, it's not as detailed as Madden. Doesn't have to be.
No, it really doesn't. I think in terms of sports games or football games, whichever way you want to look at it, sports games in general, when it goes back to the 8-bit ones, there are ones that you think of that you're automatically fond of. For me, Tecmo Super Bowl is definitely one of them. Tecmo Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have the official NFL teams in it.
No, they didn't get official team names or rosters. I think any of the games didn't get those till late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, because it's easier to create a game without having to license official product.
Oh,
that's why. So, not licensing it. So, and I think that's why everybody is, Tecmo Super Bowl is better than Tecmo Bowl, and it's like, I was like, but. When it comes to releasing the game in a licensing standpoint, it's easier to release something where it's like, hey, we don't have to ask the NFL for permission, and we don't have to give them money for it.
Actually, I'm going to stand slightly corrected. Tecmo Super Bowl, which came out in 1991, was the first fully licensed sports video game for consoles. Period.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I was talking about Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, I thought we were just your question as to like when it kind of went like that.
Well, no, I'm saying that's why I think a lot of people lean towards Tecmo Super Bowl because it had the official NFL teams in it, whereas Tecmo Bowl didn't. So
correct. I see what you're talking about.
Again, for me, it was always more about the gameplay, and I remember enjoying playing Tecmo Bowl. I thought it was like, and again, growing up, I wasn't a big football person. Actually, let me rephrase that. I wasn't a sports person, pretty much at all, except for video games. I think my big experience in terms of sports were Tecmo Bowl and RBI baseball and Blades of Steel. So
yeah, that was before you got into hockey.
And that was long. Yeah, it was way before I got into hockey.
Blades of Steel is my favorite hockey game, and RBI baseball. It's funny. I think you're like one of the few people I know who really truly loved RBI.
I loved RBI, and I also loved Bases Loaded. Bases Loaded 2 was my favorite.
Okay, so I have a question I'm going to try and store in my head we'll talk about in a moment. But going back to Tecmo Bowl, so, first of all, for those with the Switch, you have Tecmo Bowl on NES. I believe it's on the online virtual console.
So if you have the online subscription.
Yeah. So they tried to mimic the Mini as much as possible at that point. But because of that, would you, as much as you love Tecmo Bowl, it's only $8. Would you look to go and get the arcade version, which we know sometimes is different than the home console?
Yeah. Probably not, because my memory and my fondness for the game goes back to the console edition, not the arcade edition. Mm-hmm. If you were to say that there's the arcade version of Gauntlet, I'd probably go for that. That's where I go with arcade. It's like, give me the games that I remember playing in the arcade, and I'd probably go buy the arcade version, provided they were different.
Oh, of course.
I don't think Gauntlet was necessarily that different from the home
Probably
console.
not. Probably just more. It was probably harder on the arcade because it's well known that they purposely made it harder to eat quarters.
Yeah, they want your money.
Absolutely. I remember when I downloaded on the on the PS3, which is why if the PS5 is truly backwards compatible, hopefully we can download some of these games onto it or transfer them. Ooh. That'd be better. If I could transfer, because then I get The Simpsons as well. Anyway, Tecmo, I don't know if it's still available actually if you have a PS3 and an Xbox. Tecmo Bowl Throwback, I think it was called.
That one I don't know.
Yeah, it was just basically a graphical upgrade of Tecmo Bowl. It may... Actually, I don't want to talk out of turn. I don't know if they updated it with the players and stuff like that. But what was cool about the game was literally, and which other games have done this, literally on the fly, you can change it from updated graphics to the old 8-bit graphics.
Oh, cool.
In the middle of a play.
That's awesome.
It's just
all of a sudden you go from the extra cool graphics to just these little 8-bit things.
It basically does. What I didn't realize was the arcade version of Tecmo Bowl had 10 players on a side. The NES version had 9 players on the side, obviously due to limitations of the systems. Mm-hmm. Normally there are, I want to say 11 on a team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think, you know what? I don't know, for $8, if I see how much of a difference the arcade version is, definitely something to look into, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt if you're going to play it. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, then in that case, I got a collection.
I am a victim of game purchasing and not playing. So, But I'd rather buy. This is a whole other discussion we can get into. If I'm going to buy a game and not play it, I'd rather buy the physical version than a digital version, because then the digital version just sits there forever. I'd rather at least I can say I'm adding to my collection when I buy the physical version.
I have actually, speaking of which, let me see if I can find it. I think it's hidden behind this controller. Yes, nope, it's over there. So if people can find it, yeah, I know you see the back of my head, so you're going to see that for a little while. There are a couple of Tecmo Bowl homebrews that are floating around. Some people actually put them on a cartridge. So, come on, you rat.
Retro Gamer is brought to you by Irving Scrap Metal in Brooklyn, New York.
That's on the. I didn't want to advertise. I mean, I want to advertise. They're awesome. So if you have any metal to sell, go to Irving Scrap Metal.
There you go.
I picked up that. You know what's funny? The guy on the cover kind of looks like Mojo Rawley. So I picked up Tecmo Super Bowl 13, right? Tecmo Super. Yep. So obviously not an official Tecmo game at all. Yeah. But I like the green. First of all, I like the green cart.
Yeah, it's nice, and I like it when they. I like the fact that people are doing homebrews with the updated teams.
Yeah, we'll give them a shout out there.
Nice. Time Walk Games. Thank you very much for that.
TimeWalkGames.com. Yeah, so this is it. And I've played it. It plays like Tecmo Bowl, just with the 2013 roster. Which is really cool. So
and that's really, I mean, it's great. You can destroy an 8-bit Tom Brady.
And of course they've had hockey like that as well. I've seen NHL like 2016 on Genesis. So.
Yeah, I need to get my hands on that.
I know, I keep looking for it. So if I find it, I'll let you know.
Yeah. So I definitely I would definitely play. I would definitely play that the NHL ones for sure.
Oh, speaking of which, and I know I'm kind of springing this up literally as we record, so one of us hopefully can find it. Has Madden done the official simulation yet?
They should have done it, or they they would have done it
the morning of.
I don't remember if it's today or the morning of. It might be tomorrow morning.
Madden 2020 Super Bowl prediction. Oh no, they've already done it. I did it a couple days ago, actually.
So who wins?
All right, so let me just look at this.
And my cat jumped and ruined the camera. Who won?
So according to Madden, they did Madden NFL 20. The Kansas City Chiefs best the San Francisco 49ers 35-31.
Ooh.
So that is interesting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Okay, and
actually, by the time this episode drops, it will have already happened. So
let's see. Sometimes they have to add like stats from the game, from the simulated game. Let me see if I can find something real quick. I cannot, so I don't want to wait too long. No, I can't find any major stats. But it looks like at least like the heading from CBS Sports. 2020 Super Bowl prediction, Madden simulation says Patrick Mahomes gets shut down. Oh, shut down. That was shut out. Never mind. So, in any event.
Well, shut down.
Madden Universe picked up. Yeah, so it gets deep in there. So check out the stats online. So there you go, Kansas City. And I think I want to say that Madden, since they've been doing it, and we did this a couple years ago, maybe even last year. I think they've been more on the mark with the winners overall.
Yes, they have been so far.
So
I think they're more right than wrong. I think it was like every 2 out of 3. It was like they're like 66% right.
Yeah, I think only once they nailed it on the head, but like score wise as well. But
which is eventual. You know what happens.
So there you go, Kansas City Chiefs. Congratulations on winning the virtual Super Bowl 56. Right? 54. 54. LIV. 54. On winning the Super Bowl. So we'll see if you can do it in real life. The only thing I'm concerned about this Super Bowl weekend is the death of Mr. Peanut.
Oh yes, we're all going to find out why and how Mr. Peanut dies. I don't even understand what that is. Let's just move on.
That's called a marketing campaign.
No, that's fine. Mr. Peanut never got a video game. Let's move on.
Know what I want Mr. Peanut to have? A pop vinyl. And the reason why I say that...
You don't have enough of those.
This, true. Oh, you know what's the next one I want to get? The little sweet from the Dr. Pepper commercials. You're the sweet one.
Great.
It just rides off on the new commercial. So, Funko has released a photo of a new pop. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-pack. It should be. But I think this is pretty cool. You know what, Ann? I'm going to ask you maybe to timestamp this and put up a graphic of this. But Funko's going to be releasing, let me try that again, Contra pop vinyls.
Yeah, I saw those. And it's the first time I think I've gotten excited about a pop vinyl because I really don't pay attention to them at all. So, but they look really cool.
Yes, they look awesome. It's, basically Bill and Lance. They don't have them as 8-bit. You know how some pop vinyls you do 8-bit?
Yes.
So they're not blocky like that, which I like. I'm sure they will put out a variant or chase.
Depending on how they sell, I'm sure they'll put out an 8-bit variant.
But for now, I'm hoping it's a 2-pack. But yeah, this is pretty cool, with the Contra series. Hopefully this means we'll get some more dedicated gaming ones, because the gaming pops, they're a little mostly like Street Fighter and like Dig Dug and stuff. But this is cool to go like pure gaming like Contra. I saw that. I'm like, that is pretty sweet.
Well, if there were, which game would you like to see immortalized in pop?
Well, honestly, Contra's my favorite. So,
they've already announced Contra.
I mean, you gotta go. I mean, they've made a Sonic pop. You gotta go Mario. The Mario series, absolutely. They haven't done any Nintendo, really. So I think,
probably because they haven't
the
licensed Nintendo.
Yeah. Which I'm shocked by this point, because Funko is so popular at this point. But we got some cool 8-bit ones. But, like one of my prized 8-bit ones that's based on a video game is the Jason 8-bit.
Yes, I love the Jason
game.
8-bit one. It's
fun. So that one's pretty cool. I mean, on your end, what would you like to see? I know you're not a pop collector, but still, they're kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I've got to say Tetris pops for sure.
How would you even do that?
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. No, see, here I am like, I wonder how they can do that.
No, it was funny. The first game that popped into my head, and I just think because it would be a cool game to do. And I'm also thinking along the lines of, God, I go, Nintendo would never license it out, would they? Or eventually, they'll do it when it's like way later. Altered Beast.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I think you can do both. You can do the 3 stages of your guy, like when you're super scrawny, when you're buff, and then when you turn into and then every level you're a different beast. So it'd be cool to get to collect the different beasts. I
wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. I know they have a 3-pack, which I never got my hands on yet. A 3-pack Rampage.
Oh, that would be fun.
It was a Walmart.
Or that's already out.
No, it's already out. I just got to get my hands on it. It was a Walmart exclusive. It was all 3, George, Lizzie, and Ralph. And they were 8-bit. They were the blocky version.
Oh, cool.
That worked. That made sense to me.
Okay.
I'm trying to think some other iconic games. The gaming realm, again, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, stuff like that. Mega Man, they've done Mega Man. I got a few Mega Man pops. And my favorite one isn't even makes sense. Retro Mega Man. It's in black and white. Makes no sense, but I love black and white pop. So, but I have that. I have regular blue, and I have Gyro Man. So he's green.
Oh, nice.
And he supposedly glows in the dark, but none of my pops glow in the dark. So
none of them glow in the dark. I would not say no to Zelda, pops.
Oh, that would definitely, and you could almost envision what it would look like. In all honesty, I mean, if they did a Zelda, pop,
just look at the amiibos.
Exactly. Yeah. You think it would look like that? So
pretty much.
Oh, that's right. And they also have because I just stared at it, Space Invader pops. This is not nice. But Space Invader pop. I have 2 of them. I have a green one and a pink one.
Yeah. But I think. Altered Beast, I think, would be a fun one. That's pretty much where I went to.
All right, that'd be cool. Of course, if you want to check out some more pop stuff, you can check out my Instagram page at More Pop Vinyls, MOHR Pop Vinyls. So there you go.
Oh boy,
got to get it out there.
Yes, you do. No, you do. Not complaining, just rolling my eyes publicly.
The empire will not build itself.
No, apparently it builds itself on a bunch of plastic.
It sure does. So. Alrighty. Other than that, as far as the pre-orders go, I think I'm pretty much done with pre-orders for now.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, I have the TurboGrafx 16 and Final Fantasy 7 on pre-order, and that's really it.
So I wanted to mention, even though it's a football weekend, you were talking about sports games, and I think let's kind of maybe lay it down right now. So your favorite baseball game, RBI baseball, you said, right?
Yeah. I mean, RBI or bases loaded. I go back and forth.
All right. Your favorite hockey game?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. Mostly because there's Blades of Steel, and then there is NHL '94. Mm-hmm. Or was it '95? I think it's 94.
I feel like 94 is the one to go, because the reason why I say that is because my favorite hockey game is NHL PA '93 on Genesis.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, everyone always went 94, which is a year later. So
yeah, no. NHL '94 and Blades of Steel, no question.
And then football.
We've talked about this one.
Yes.
NFL 2K5
Yes.
for Xbox. I don't think I've ever played a football game more enjoyable. And I've only had a handful of football games because, again, football wasn't a big thing for me until I started doing fantasy football. Then I started paying attention, and that was in the early 2000s. Yeah. But I will say that the first one I had, I think, was NFL Quarterback Club on the N64. That was the first one I really started this outside of the Tecmos, that I really started enjoying. But NFL 2K5, I still have it because it's so damn good. It
was fantastic, and it was the last game before Madden took over the licensing rights.
Yes,
where Madden got all the exclusives. But ESPN, NFL 2K5, 360, phenomenal. All right. And basketball?
I will probably say with certainty that the last basketball game I remember playing was, is it Jordan versus Bird? No. It was Bulls and Blazers on Genesis.
Okay.
That might have been it. I mean, I played NBA Jam in the arcade because it was fun, Boom Shakalaka and all that. But yeah, I think Bulls versus Blazers, and I think were there Bulls and Lakers? There were two games.
They had Bulls, Lakers, Bulls, Blazers. I think whoever was in the finals that year. Yeah.
And I had both of those, and those were probably the last ones I remember playing.
Okay. For me, what about you? Baseball. Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League Baseball on Super Nintendo. Hands down, my favorite baseball game. Hockey, as I just mentioned, NHL PA '93. Blades of Steel gets the honorary mention because that's the game I used to play with my cousins. Back in the day, my cousins Jamie and Brienne, and back there in the '80s, you're like, the girl want to play hockey. They kick my ass every time, so it don't matter. Me. So Blades of Steel has a warm spot in my heart. Football. ESPN, like you said, 2K5, phenomenal. And as far as basketball, I would have to say, Double Dribble was a classic.
Oh, Double Dribble, of course.
Double Dribble. I think it was NBA 2K5. No, it was probably a little earlier than that. Whichever one came out right when the PS2 went online.
Oh,
because
I don't know.
It was the first game I ever played against someone else online on a home console. I remember that. I think it was 2K5. Then my girlfriend called me and yelled at me while I wasn't paying attention to her. I'm like in the middle of a basketball game. She hung up on me.
That I'm playing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. So, I would go. I want to say like 2K5 or something.
Okay. Well, let's not leave out the all important sport. What about golf?
Golf. Do you remember our obsession with PGA
Tour 3? PGA Tour
was
3.
it 3? Okay.
Yes.
That was weird.
It was, but it was fun.
Oh no, it was a blast, but it's just like golf is a great game, don't get me wrong. It's the game of kings. But for us in our group, none of us really played golf.
None of us played golf, but for some odd reason, I think in high school I tried out for the golf team without ever having played golf. And
did you try it when I tried out?
I think so, and I did not make the team.
I did, and we still suck.
How did you make the team?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think it was
I'm trying to see if I still have my. There were two golf games I owned that I enjoyed. One was PGA Tour 3 on the Genesis, and then the other one
it's like 96 or something.
Yeah, it was PGA 96 on the PC.
There you go.
Which I do not have.
But yeah, it was hysterical how we all got into that golf game.
Yeah, it was very strange, and I still have PGA Tour 3, so I never got rid of it, which is awesome.
Yeah, if I did, I may have picked it up again. I gotta go back and double check. I may when I started going to Game On, I may have picked it up again for nostalgia purposes.
Oh, it's good for the nostalgia.
Your favorite cricket game?
It would have to be. Let's see. Cricket 2K Never.
Hey, for our European fans, there you go. Or South America, maybe.
Yeah, I mean
they love their cricket.
They don't release cricket games here per se, or ones that I'm aware of. I've never played any soccer games with the exception of Mega Man Soccer, and I didn't enjoy that very much.
I don't think I've never played that. Cricket, I don't know what a crumpet is.
And I also never played any horse racing games that apparently Nintendo had on their Famicom system. No. And not only that, but you were able to go online and gamble on your Famicom.
Yeah. There's a ton of, you got the football.
Poker?
You're right.
Do we count poker as a sport?
Some people do. Some people do.
I used to play the was it the World Poker Tour that had a game on
I think so, that or Texas Hold'em
on Xbox. Yeah.
World Poker Tour, yeah.
Yeah, I used to play that and conveniently always lose because it's a poker game, video game, and it's built to kill you.
And it's hard
to bluff.
I
will say this, not to get into gambling stuff, but Vegas Stakes on the Super Nintendo, I used to play all the time.
Oh, that's a good one. I think I played it more on the Nintendo than Super Nintendo.
Yeah. And then going way back to Nintendo, which started my gambling addiction, Casino Kid on the NES.
That one I never really played, but I heard, trust me, it's a good game.
I played. It was all blackjack and poker, and I actually beat the game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it was actually they tried to make a story mode out of it, where basically you had to go battle the dealers in a certain order, and then they only had a set amount of money, and when they ran out of money, you beat them and you moved on.
Fair enough. That's just like life.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. When I go to a casino, it's like the dealer only has X amount of chips, and once you beat them, they shut down for the day.
I remember a very innovative game that they only did like one season, maybe 2 seasons, going back for football. On the 360, they had like NFL head coach.
Oh, I remember that.
Where you literally...
I never played it.
Yeah, you were just that. You didn't play the football game.
Oh, you were just
played the coach. Huh. Yes. So what you would do is you would set plays. The team would run it, and you go from there. What was cool about it, though, and mid 2000s, you can use just your headset, and you can call out the plays as
That's fun and different.
Like as if you were an actual coach with the headset on. And I think you got feedback. You may have gotten feedback in the headset. I don't remember. I could be wrong on that. But it was cool.
That's kind of fun. It's almost like the wrestling promoter games we used to play.
Yes, kind of, sort of. Exactly. It was basically ultimately you're paying for a simulation. Right. But the head coach part was pretty cool. So so that's basically cool. Yeah. I think that's all I got on the games, on the sports games.
I'm trying to think if there's any sport we left out. And
there are tons of sports that we left out.
I'm sure there are tons of sports we left out, but those are the ones that come to mind in terms of sports games I've played. Yeah,
exactly. So, all right. Do you have any other bits of news or anything like that?
No, not really. It's been on the game side for me. It's been a pretty slow week. I've been a little distracted. Okay. Just with real world events, I guess I should say. I've been
fair enough.
I've been paying attention to more things work related than anything else because there's some stuff going on. It's been a game light kind of week.
Fair enough.
Which is also why I haven't beaten anything to catch up with you. But I plan to remedy that
soon enough.
Yes.
All righty.
What about you? Anything else? Anything game?
No. Like I said, I'm done pre-ordering things. I haven't been to Game On in a while. So far, so good.
Well, I worry sometimes because if you don't go there, they may just close down since you basically are responsible for their rent.
No, they're doing good.
No, I know they are.
So, all right. So then I think we'll call this one a little early then. We'll bring it into port. Yep, nothing wrong with that. Ant, where can they find us?
They can find us right here.
Fair enough. All right.
There you go. But if they don't want to find this right here, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, Instagram at RetroGamersPodcast, Twitter, which I never remember because I don't tweet.
At RetroGamersPod.
At RetroGamersPod. Our website, RetroGamers.com. You can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are pretty much everywhere to the point where I found a new site and I was telling Larry about it. And I'm like, hey, we should be on this site. And then I was like, let me search. And we're already there. So we are pretty much everywhere where it comes to listening to podcasts. If you want to watch our podcast, because we do record video now, you can check out the Retro Gamers Podcast on YouTube. If you want to email us, you can email us at email@theretrogamers.com. I believe that's everything.
Probably. And wherever you listen to us, wherever you watch us, make sure you hit subscribe. Also hit the like button, hit the share button. That's the biggest thing. Share it. Let all your friends and family know about us. Again, we like to have a good time on this show and reminisce and have you join us on this ride. I personally want to real quick thank over there at Area 22 Productions, the Technocrats. I was on their show this past week. And you check that out again at their Facebook page, Area 22 Productions. Another wonderful 3-hour event. And it was a panel, and at one point, it's very, very technical, trust me. Like, they go deep. Some stuff I learned, and I took coding in college, computer programming and stuff. But we did get into some stuff about gaming a little bit, as far as... first of all, like some of the currencies online, is that a form of like investment or something like that? Also talking about, when downloading a game, like kind of do publishers have the right to change the game on you through patches or something? We started talking about a little bit of the refund policy. It was more on the end of coding and like, do you own the code, or what they call is code law and stuff like that. So, but it was pretty cool. It was,
oh, nice.
When they started talking about that, that's when I finally was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm here. I can do this.
It's like, hey, hello.
So, and one more thing I'm going to mention now, and then I'll mention again as we get closer. If you're listening out there right now, April 5, tune in to Facebook. Mostly because I'm going to be doing my Talking More Wrestling live WrestleMania podcast. But depending on who's in town, knock on wood, we'll see what happens. We may do other live podcasts of the Retro Gamers, the Better Half, the Yin and the Yang podcast. We'll see. But mostly it's going to be for Talking More Wrestling live WrestleMania broadcast Sunday, April 5th. More details to come.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Whether I'm there or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I think we'll call it.
I think we shall.
All right, let's go get ready for the Super Bowl. And folks, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.